Hello and welcome to my stamp studio. How are all of you this evening? It is a beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Sorry, I have to take a sip of something here. It's just iced tea. Nothing says summer like iced tea, am I right? Hope you all are doing well. Hey, if you're just joining, let me know that you're here. Leave a comment, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. I love to see who's all out there in Facebook land. As always, I'm going to try to keep this one a little shorter so that we can upload it to YouTube. I did upload yesterday's Hump Day Lunch Break and also the catalog tour from last weekend. I am super excited to say that on Sunday at 7:30, well, maybe 7, I don't know, 7:30, I haven't decided. In that time frame, I am going to do my unboxing of all the new product that I purchased. Can't wait to share it with all of you. Hi, Becky, welcome. So super excited about that. There are some really fun things in there. Ooh, I'm getting the magnetic plate for the die cutting machine. I can't wait to play with that and share that with you. So super excited about that. And now I just need to get going on the feed here. Let's see. There we go. Let's get that. Oops. And now I just need to. Okay, now we need to turn that down. Okay, and hopefully I'll be able to see all the comments. So let's see. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Where are my comments? Okay. Let's just see if my one. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to leave that up so I can see if I get other comments. Sometimes my thing just disappears, so don't know. I'm also going to check really quick if I am live in my Stamp Studio group, just to make sure I'm live in both places. Becky, where are you watching from, the page or the group? Just curious. All right, I'm almost there. So just going to wait a moment or two for people to join on. I know it's such a beautiful night. They're probably all cooking out, so they'll probably watch the replay, and that's okay. And if you are one of those people that are watching the replay, do me a favor. Just post a comment saying that you're watching the replay. It really does help me. I do take a look at what videos are being watched. I take a look at my time frame. I take a look at the projects I did, things like that, to help me recognize what else I should be doing. So, and as always, if you ever have a question or if you want to see something in particular, post a comment in there, because that way I know what to show you the next time. So I do have a simple to stepped up video that I'm going to be doing, and I think I'm going to post that right to YouTube so that people can see it. I'll probably make that up this weekend. And let's see, where am I here? I'm not seeing my live feed in there, so let me see if I can share it. Oh, I guess I can't. So okay, so let's see, how can I share it to my group? I don't think I can. Oh, maybe I can in this one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I must be sharing to the group already. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it then. Okay. All right, I'm going to flip down the camera and we're going to get started, because my husband actually went shopping and he's going to be cooking out tonight. So super excited about that. Hello, Helen, welcome. One of the other upcoming things that I have, it'll probably be next week, I'm going to be doing tulip fields with coordinating dies. These dies are awesome. I got this stamp set a while ago. I accidentally ordered it. So then I was like, oh, well, now I'm going to have to get the dies. So all weekend I am going to hunt around for some ideas, and we're going to be using this stamp set before it gets ready to leave us. So this is in the January to June mini catalog, so that goes to the end of June. As always, they'll be announcing what products are going to be retiring from that catalog pretty soon. And what's the other fun thing that I have to share with you? Oh, so we actually get to order catalogs, our new mini catalogs that are coming out, and our celebration brochures. So we are going to be having another celebration this summer. Woohoo! Free stamps and free papers. Woohoo! Who doesn't love that? So, if you're not on my email list, if you're not currently getting a catalog from me, make sure you go to my email list subscription. I will have it in the link here. I'll put it in the description in the comments. Make sure you sign up for my email. And also you want to make sure that you, I'm going to have a little survey out there. So if you're interested in getting a catalog, let me know. For those of you who have not purchased from me in a while, I do charge $10 for the catalogs. Probably with the mini, it'll be a little bit less, but with the annual catalogs, I do charge $10 for that to cover the shipping and everything to you. But I do also include a $10 gift certificate for you to use. You need to email me your first order. Don't email me your credit card information. Do not put that in email. It's not safe. I will contact you for that, or I'll send you a PayPal invoice and you can do it that way. I want to make sure that everything is all safe. But usually what I'll do is I'll take your order and then I give you that discount. So I need to put that order in. I can't have you do it online. So let's see. Oh, I know what I was going to share with you. So next month, I believe we as demonstrators can actually order the new product from the new mini catalog and get celebration sets early before anyone else out there. So demonstrators, woohoo, are lucky. So if you ever were thinking about wanting to get your hands on stuff before everybody else, if that's something that you're totally into, then think about purchasing the starter kit. Starter kit is $99. And through the month of May, Stampin' Up! Is actually going to be giving you some of the new in-color products. Totally worth it. So for $99, plus the tax, shipping is free, you will get $125 of whatever you want, plus an extra like $66, $67 worth of in-color products that they're going to send you included with your starter kit. And what does a starter kit mean? Okay, you become a demonstrator. Do you have to do videos? Oh, no. Do you have to sell things? Oh, no. You can just shop. You can use it as a discount. Think of it as always having a 20% off coupon on your total purchases from your favorite craft store. Because Stampin' Up! Is my favorite craft store. Don't know about you, but I shop there all the time. Oh, yeah, the in colors are beautiful. And we're going to be using some of the in colors tonight. Actually, on one of the cards. So I'm going to flip my camera down. If you get dizzy, close your eyes. If you get motion sickness, I don't want you to have to go run and get your Dramamine. So close your eyes. I'll tell you when to open them. Here we go. Okay, you can open them. Wait, I'm going to adjust a little bit more. Okay, so I've got a little bit of sunlight coming in from the windows behind me. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction there. So let's see. So I did tell you about the starter kit. So when you purchase starter kit, $99. Shipping is free. You pay your sales tax, and you will also be getting $66.50 worth of in-color products delivered to you. And it's part of your starter kit. Again, you can just be a discount shopper. You can be a hobby demonstrator, collect orders from your friends and put an order in. Or you can actually run this as a business. Okay, In Color Club, I just need to go through a little bit more with you. In Color Club, sign up is still available. This is a 5-month club. And each month you will get one of the different in colors, but you'll get the full products of suites with them, you know, the full suite of products. So you get your cardstock, your ribbon, your baker's twine, your refill, your ink pad, your blends, your marker. You get a hand stamp card from me featuring that month's color, and then you'll get 8 sheets of designer series paper in that same color family. So it will be, for this one, Starry Sky. Then we have our Sweet Sorbet, and I'm going to say Orchid Opulence, and I know that's not the right one, but it's Orchid something. I can never remember the name. You can tell I've been a demonstrator for quite some time because I remember the old Stampin' Up! Names. If this is not in your in your wish list, and you don't want to get everything, but you want a little sampler of the in colors, I am offering a in color sampler. So this I'll be running through, I'm going to extend this to the end of the month, but this is just getting 2 yards of each of the metallic ribbon. We are going to be using the metallic ribbon tonight. Orchid Oasis, thank you. So this is some of our metallic ribbon. So you get 2 yards of each color. you get an assorted pack of cardstock. So what does that mean? Well, assorted pack of cardstock, instead of getting a full pack of one color, you will be getting 4 sheets of each of the 5 colors, so 20 sheets in total. But it's a pack that comes like this. It's all sealed up for you, and it's all 5 colors. I'll also be in this in color sampler. You get 2 yards of baker's twine of each of the different colors. You get some of these awesome in color matte decorative dots, which we'll be using tonight. You'll get a 20 sheets of designer series paper, 4 of each color, so that way you get all the different patterns in there. And you can either choose to have markers or full stamp pads, your choice. So the in color pricing is $64 if you want the markers. It's $88 if you want the full stamp pads. And if I need to ship it to you, it'll be an extra $8.55 just to cover the priority mail. So otherwise, you can do porch pickup, or I can ship it to you. Great deal. It gives you a little bit of everything to see how you're going to like it. It is an awesome deal. And you will still get a hand stamp card from me, of course. I will be doing a color chart. So anyone that is in the In Color Sampler or that purchases the In Color Club will get that same thing. You'll get a color chart. And you'll also get a little color coach, which tells you some different combinations of what other colors coordinate with these. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let's get these out of the way because now we can get to our stamping. So I'm bringing my scrap paper here. Move my things back to where I need them to be. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Let's bring these out. And our first colors that we're going to be using are our Parakeet Party, Granny Apple Green, and Evening Evergreen. And if you're wondering how in the world I came up with those colors, well, I have my handy dandy little color samplers here. So I do have these available for purchase, and I will be putting that on my website. So if you want this sent to you, what I do is I actually decorate this all up for you. You get a circle of all the different colors, all the current colors. And that way, when you're trying to figure out what colors should I put together, you have everything there. So what I did is I pulled all of my greens. And I'm just going to grab them all through here. I have some of the retired ones still here too. And I wanted to see really, oh, that's not green, what was going to all go together. So let's see. Okay, we got this one. Oh, and by the way, the ones I send you will not have a little divot in it. That was just my sampler. I do put all the names of the colors behind, so you always know the name. And I do put the code for the cardstock for you. All right, so here it is. So I took all these greens. I'm going to shove everything else aside here. Oh, we got 2 more. All right. And then I took my paper that I really want to focus on. So this is our Parakeet Party, and I put these really all right on my paper right here. And I thought, okay, which ones work well and which ones do not? So yeah, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work, no. This is Old Olive, and oh my gosh, doesn't it look ugly against that? I love Old Olive, but yeah, it doesn't look right there. Let's see, what is this one? Oh, and Mossy. Yeah, that one could actually go. Like, these would actually be some pretty cool colors. And, you know, even those 3. And then these 3. So what I ended up doing is I chose my Evening Evergreen, my Granny Apple Green, and my Parakeet Party. I was very tempted with the Shaded Spruce. Very, very tempted. It was a hard decision to make. But I made it. So, yeah, but this is awesome. You get a whole stack of these. They're all labeled for you. And sometimes when I am in a crafting funk and I just don't know what colors to use, I take this and I just drop it right on my tabletop, just like this. I move my colors around. I don't really try to pick any particular color. I just move them around. And then I'm like, oh, well, you know, these kind of go together. Like, oh, you know, this actually wouldn't be a bad color combination. Or, you know what, even this, no. But these 3 are kind of fun together. So that's how sometimes I come up with my colors. Now you can do it with full sheets of cardstock. I like this. It's like 52 card pickup, but with Stampin' Up! Colors. So I gotta tell you what happened over the weekend. So Mother's Day, I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. I was very distracted because we went plant shopping. Every year, my husband splurges on me and he buys me these beautiful hanging baskets from Tihan's, which is a local greenhouse and friends of ours. And they have these gorgeous baskets. They're humongous. And within probably by the end of the month, these baskets will like double in size. So we have a big wraparound porch. So I got 10 full baskets. They're beautiful. And can I tell you, I actually talked him into another one because the colors of it were Mango Melody and Polished Pink. Ah, I couldn't believe it. I will have to take a picture and post it for you. It's beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're Stampin' Up! Colors. Woo! I mean, I can't pass that up. Okay, so here is our stamp set that we're going to be using. It's called Botanical Layers. Now, this is a little bit of a different bundle. It doesn't come with a punch, and it doesn't come with dies. It actually comes with a package of vellum cardstock. So I'm going to pull this out. We're going to be using some of this today. I've used some of this already, so just so you know. But there are 5 patterns in here. So there's circles, there's this leaf, another circle. There is this kind of like a, I don't know, it reminds me of like mountains. And you can put that in front of another color. You could actually take a blender brush or a blending brush and rub color on it, and you'll get the different variations in there. There's also these polka dots, which we'll be using. And yeah, so you get 5, I think it's 5 of each. No, it's 4 of each of those designs. I don't remember. I've dove into this so many times. But you get 60 pieces of vellum. Now, these measure 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So then you get a whole stock of them. There's about 40 sheets, I believe, that are plain. But you know what? It's not a bad thing, because I have actually done a lot of things with these small pieces, and it's actually a little easier to manage than having a full piece of vellum cardstock and cutting it up. I can grab these out and simply just crank things away. So it's awesome. I just thought it was pretty unique, a different bundle that they have for some of you that may not be into punches or don't have a die cut machine. Just some different things for you to use. So, like I said, I've been diving into this, so I had 2 packs of it all set. I actually used some of that for my team when they came over to do their new catalog party. Okay, so let's get our first card, and I'll show you this card. So here is the first card that we're making. I'm calling this Bright and Light, my Bright and Light botanical card, because I'm stamping on the vellum and then I have got my card inside. So just a little bit different flavor of card. So I really did want to use the vellum, and I wanted to show you how you can stamp on it. Now, one thing to note, and I didn't pull it out, so I may end up having to do it a little bit later. We'll see. When you stamp on vellum, it does take a while to dry. And if you're in a very humid area, it's going to take longer to dry. So you may need to take your embossing tool and give it a quick heat set. No, your hair dryer won't work. But also with your heat tool, your heat embossing tool, put it on the lower setting, because you don't want to warp your paper. So this paper can curl. So just a little note. All right, so what I'm going to first grab is my piece of Parakeet Party. Now this measures 8.5 by 5.5, but I need to cut it down. And actually the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, just like I would a normal one. So we'll score that right there. Now I'm going to actually take off 3 1/4 inches, because I just want a little 1-inch flap here. If you want a little larger flap, you can definitely have that. Okay, so now I have a scrap piece of paper for something later, and I know I can use this easily. All right, so now I'm going to take my bone folder here, and we're going to give this a good crease. just like that. All right. I'm going to bring in my next piece of cardstock, which is my thick white. And what in the world did I just do with it? There it is. So I have a piece of thick white. This was measured at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Now, this is something I typically do because when I'm cutting up cardstock, I will just create a whole bunch of card bases right away. But this is not the actual size that I want. So what I need to do is cut off a little bit from each side. So I'm going to cut this to be 5 1/4 instead of 5.5. So just taking off a 1/4 inch there. And then I'm going to take off, let's see, I only want this to be 8 inches long. So I need to take a 1/4 inch off from each side. So I'm going to slide into my trimmer right here. And this first line in my trimmer is 1/4 inch. So one from this side. And one from this side. What I did on my website though is I have the measurements of all the finished cut sizes. So if you want to go there, you can see it. It will be live at 9 o'clock. So on mystampstudio.com, you can see that post for that. All right, this is how it's going to go. All right. So before I actually adhere these together, I am going to be stamping on the inside. Your Versamark and powder peel off? I've never had that happen. I wonder what kind of, are you using a craft ink or are you using just a classic pad? I've never had that happen, so I guess I don't typically use my embossing powder on my vellum. I'll give it a try and I'll let you know. And let me write that down so I don't forget. Hold on. My handy dandy little notes here. Oh, you said you're using Versamark. Okay. Embossing powder. Versamark. All right, I will check that out for you. All right, I have a small strip of white cardstock. You can use just a scrap piece, doesn't matter if it's thick or regular. This actually measures, handy dandy little tool here. It actually measures 3.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I think I probably forgot to add that one on the website, so I'll have to go back and update that. And then I have a piece of that vellum with the dots, and this is what we're going to be stamping on. So all we're going to really be doing is using our stamps, our stamps, our ink, our paper. I am going to add some embellishments by adding in the dots and that ribbon. Cooper, stop it. So my dog is trying to get my attention and he's licking my knees. And I have pants on. You weirdo, stop it. Go find your dad. Go find Daddy. He's downstairs. Okay, sorry about that little diversion there. Okay, so let's take this. Let's stamp this first because I know this is going to take a little longer to dry. And I need to put this stamp out of my way. And we'll get my stamps out. So this is a cling mount set. So it is already, has the rubber and it has the foam. So I don't have to worry about having a little mat underneath my surface here. But I'm going to be using this and this and this one. Okay. And yeah, we'll see if I want to do something else after that, but we'll just start with these. So the first thing, when I first did my original one, I started with a darker color. Ooh, that was probably not the best idea. So this time we're going to start with the lighter color. So I'm going to start with Parakeet Party. And we'll get another block here. Oh, I need to get my little cleaner open here. Put some mist. And, you know, Becky, you told me about the idea with the washi tape on marking the side, and I keep forgetting to do that. I have to remember that because that is a great tip. Right. Set that somewhere. I'm not going to knock my water over. Get these things out of the way. I tell you, I still am challenged with storing my ribbon. That's always going to be a challenge for me. Okay. Stop babbling and start stamping. All right, so I'm going to ink this up, and I am just going to take one over here. I'll stamp it over here. I'll stamp another one over here. All right, and that's okay that it's very light and very faint. That's fine. I'm good with that. And now we'll take our Granny Apple Green, because this is one of my more favorite greens. And you know, and also when I'm using stamps that have like foliage, I always go green. I don't know why, but I do. I'm going to have to try and play around with some different colors. I want to try Gray Granite, Blackberry Bliss, and Rich Raspberry, and see what kind of card that will make. All right, so we'll put this one here. All right, just going to do one of those. And now I need my large block here for this one. And this one is going to be in my Evening Evergreen. I kind of smooshed my stamp. It kind of slid a little bit there. So when you're stamping on your vellum, be careful. It's a little slippery. All right, and I got shadows there. So with this one, gently tap to make sure you don't get ink around your edges, because if you do that, you're going to be really frustrated after you stamp there. All right, and now I'm just going to stamp this right here. Now, what I found, I'm going to move this off to the side a little bit. What I found when I stamped earlier, let me grab another piece of vellum here, because this was actually a really cool thing that turned out, but it wasn't the look I was going for. All right, so I'm stamping my dark one here, and then I came back in with my Granny Apple Green. You can see some, oh darn, I hate when I do that. And I don't have a towel here. Oh man. Hold please, I need to get some of my hand sanitizer to clean my hands with now. Normally I have a towel hanging right next to me on my workstation here, so that when I do things like that, I can easily wipe them off instead of wiping them on my clothes. Okay, come on. I know some of you have wiped them on your jeans and on your sleeve. I know you've done it. Admit it. Because if I'm in my old junky sweats, I will do it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to stamp this one right here. Now, I want to show you something else. So I stamp off here. You can see I've got a little bit of different color going there, right? But wait, there's more. I know, I sound like the commercial. See, I knew someone would admit it. All right, so now I'm taking my Parakeet Party again. And this is where I was talking about how cool this turned out. So I'm going to stamp right on top of everything. Now, because I'm on the vellum, it's still wet, right? So now if I go over here, look at that. So you can kind of see I've got some different color, which is really pretty cool looking. I'll have to do that again later. What you can also do to get that effect is you can, in fact, let me just do it for you. There's an extra little technique that I'm going to show you. A little something fun. Oh, as I'm... I go to grab one thing and like 5 things fall off the shelf. Okay. This is what's called a thumping technique. So you get a little technique in this class tonight. A little something extra. All right, so I'm just going to clean that off. I've got my Parakeet Party. And I've got my Evening Evergreen here. I am just going to take the thick end and I am just going to whack my stamp. That sounds kind of bad, but you know what I mean. Go ahead and have some fun with it. All right, and then I'm going to breathe on it so that my hot air kind of re-moistens the ink. And looky there, how pretty that is. I love doing that technique. I actually forgot that I did that quite a bit. I usually do that like in the fall. But I think this is going to be one that I'm going to have to do with this larger stack because it's amazing. Really fun. And I'm really glad that I tried out different colors. Okay. let's get back to the card that we're making, because I'm kind of like just digressing here. All right. Put that over there. Grab my other stamps here and just gonna kind of put away. All right, I need this one here for my sentiment, and I may need these fun little guys here. I haven't decided if I'm going to use, oh, I am going to use these. I realized, I just remembered what I was using them for. Okay. I'm going to set this aside to dry. Let's see, where is it? And I've got my ceiling fan on here, so I'm hoping it's going to dry pretty quickly. But like I said, I may have to just grab my heat tool really quick. All right, so in the meantime, let's go back to our Parakeet Party, which was our card base. I am going to simply grab my scrap piece of paper here. And I'm just going to fold this in half again. All right, and I am going to cover my one side here, just like that. And now I'm going to take these fun little guys right here, and let's see, I'm going to put them in different, all right, just like that. I'm going to take my Parakeet Party, and you know what, I realize this won't work that way, so hold on please. I just need to grab some sort of scrap here. There we go. Just in case I stamp to that edge, I don't want to stamp in the back. So I'll just put this one here. We'll just have to move it along. Okay, so I'm inking up my 3 little ones in Parakeet Party, and I am going to just add. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you about this is, for some reason, with these little stamps, sometimes you can press really hard into your stamp pad, and then you get these little edges around the edge of the rubber, like right there. That's a bad thing, because it's going to leave a little mark on your card, and you don't want that. No extra little shadows or marks. All right, so gently tap and then stamp, and just turn these whatever direction you so desire. Move this up again, and I kind of want this going this way. All right, so now over here I kind of had that little gap that appeared, so I'm going to make sure I ink my little corner one here, and that's all I'm doing is that little round one. Ooh. And I'm going to stamp right in there. See how I had that little shadow? That's because I had too much ink on my block. What you can also do with a little stamp like that is put it on the corner of your block, and I like to tap on the corner of my stamp pad gently on there, and then I can come back in and fill in some of those little areas that maybe I didn't get before. So let's see, I'll just fill in a couple more here. All right, that will be good enough, because that's not really my focal image. It's just something a little, some little something, just because it was so plain when I didn't have that on there. Okay, got that done. I'm going to grab my inside now, and let's stamp our inside. So again, with this, I'm going to take my piece of paper here and go right up to my score line. It works better when you have a thin piece of paper. You don't necessarily get that kind of goofy looking edge that I had. This time, I am going to be doing these in different colors. So let's start with our, well, let's just start with Granny Apple Green, because that's the one I grabbed. All right, so I'm going to get that larger one here and just make sure I don't have stuff around my edges. And I'm going to stamp that one right here. I'm going to stamp that one down here. All right. I'm going to flip to my next color here, and I'm going to go with my Parakeet Party. And I'll grab the next size image, and I'll put one right here. Whoopsie, what did I do there? Oh, I had that block still in there. All right, because I kind of goofed that up, I'm just going to flip my paper over and we'll adhere that on the back of the card. No one will ever see it. I'm all about hiding my boo-boos. Okay. We'll get that one off of there. Oh, it's stuck. I'm going to put this little guy away because, you know, these little stamps have a tendency to run amok on my desk. And when they do that, then they run amok on my dog. Because somehow they fall off the table, they get attached to his fur, and then they disappear forever and ever. Okay, got my Granny Apple Green again. Get that one cleaned off. And now we'll grab that little one and we'll bring back in the Evening Evergreen. And I know my stamp pad here is really juicy, so I've got to really be gentle with that one. All right. I just add a little bit of something to the inside of the card. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. If you want to stamp one of your leaf images, oh, feel free. It's your card. You can do what you want. All right. So let's now put this one back. And I am going to bring my card base back in. We'll grab some seal here. And I am definitely going to put enough around the edges here so my card stays together. All right. So I did it around all 4 edges. Now, the next thing is you push it into your score line there. And then you just want to make sure that you've got, you're even all the way around. Okay. I wasn't, okay. Well, it's going where it is now. All right. Okay, got that there. Now, I want to put my vellum in. Let's see if this is dry. And it is not. It's almost there. Let me just grab my heat tool really quick so we can just give it a quick heat set. Oh, not in that one. Silly me. I'm looking in my toolbox and it should be in my embossing box. Let's see if my cord will reach. All right, it'll get a little noisy for a moment or two. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go on my low settings, so number 1. And I'm just checking out here, just make sure that I don't see like any wet ink. And by using that lower setting, I don't have to worry about my ink running, and I don't have to worry about really warping my vellum too much. And we're going to be using glue dots to hold things down, so it's getting a little warm on me. And if I don't do this, what happens is when I go to press it, it'll smear. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to have my card project put all together and I run my hand across the front and it'll smear. All right. I think that's going to be good enough for now. Again, normally when I'm doing vellum, I will leave it set for a couple hours or even overnight before I use it. I'm just very careful about it because I've just ruined my projects too many times. Okay, let's cross our fingers with this one. All right, so now we're going to be putting this right on the front, just like that. So it's going to stay down because, like I said, we'll be putting some embellishments on, so we'll be able to put a glue dot or 2 behind our embellishments and hide things. But you notice it doesn't go all the way to the edge. So what I need to do is I need to put my adhesive over here, but I only want to make sure that it's as long as my vellum is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in. Ooh. I'm going to set this kind of next to me here so I can get a good guideline, and I'm going to go right to my score line there. I'm going to go all the way down, and now I'm going to put this right where I want. I'm going to hold on to that because I can see it's still a little wet. And now, go ahead and crease that down. Just like that. I'm avoiding touching the front right now. We're going to open this back up and we're going to add our ribbon in. Okay. So let's make sure. This is such thin ribbon that sometimes it twists pretty easily. So, fair warning. You've been told. It is really pretty though. It just adds that extra little sparkle, that extra little bling. But of course, we're all about bling here, so we'll be using more. And notice I didn't even use one dimensional yet. Can you believe it? Oh, don't worry, I will be. All right. So I'm just going to actually, this is really kind of hard to tie, so I'm going to tie a knot first so I don't have to drive myself crazy. There we go. Okay, it twisted. Oh well. Life will go on, right, ladies? All right. Let me snip this end off here. And now I can go ahead and tie my bow. Like I said, this is, it's even harder kind of to me to tie than linen thread is, actually. All right. Okay. So that actually looks kind of cute right where it is. It's going to fray a little bit, and you know what? I kind of like that look, so I'm going to just fray it a little bit more on the end there. It gives it just more of a feathery, light feel. I'm just pulling that apart just a little bit, just like that. Probably to the side a little more. All right. So we're almost done here. We're going to go ahead now and bring in that one little strip that I was telling you about. And we're going to stamp our sentiment as soon as I find my one little strip. I don't think that was it, but well, oh, here it is. Here it is. I wanted a 3/4 inch. All right. So I have my sentiment here. I'm going to grab my longer block. And I'm going to be stamping in my Evening Evergreen. Can you guess where I'm going to put the dimensionals? Just saying. Okay, I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of my strip there. Get my stamp clean. And I don't know why I keep putting my stamps off to the left, because I don't ever grab things from the left. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, okay, now close this up before I put my hand in it, because we're going to be done with those. I'm going to bring in the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. And this is still available in the catalog. It's in the new catalog still. And I'm going to use this more decorative side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my punch. I'm going to take my little strip in and I'm going to slide it in. Now, you can line it up here. So this is a 1/2 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1 inch level. So this will slide in, but I like to flip it upside down so that I can make sure I've got it lined up. So that's what I do. Doesn't mean you have to, but it just makes it easier and less frustrating, just saying. Okay, I punch almost everything upside down. Just like I tie my bows upside down. Sometimes it's those little things that really make a difference. All right, so here we go. Now I'm pulling in my dimensionals. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of strips here, so we'll use some of this. And of course, there we go. Put this over here. We'll add some along this side. And some on this side. I'm just using my leftover pieces. I probably would have only used 3 whole ones if I had whole ones on that sheet. All right. I'll bring back in. Well, you need to get put away there. Bring back in my card. And I'm going to kind of cover up my little stems there, because I really don't want to see my little stems. So, there we go. And how fun is that? Let's get our envelope. And let's bring our scrap paper again. And I really like this more airy looking fern. It's not really a fern, but it's a more airy looking plant. And I'm going to go with the Parakeet Party. And I'll stamp it right here. Okay. Now I want to add something just a little more so that I can drive myself crazy. I'm going to pull back in my Evening Evergreen here. And I'm going to take that tiny little stamp, this one right here, and I'm going to come back in, put it on my corner, make sure I don't have ink all over the place, and I'm just going to stamp a couple little berries on my plant there, and move one over here. There we go. All right. Now, is that the way to use, the best way to use that? I don't know, but I thought it looked kind of cute. Just saying. It's all about the cute factor, am I right? You do that too with your punches? Yeah, you know, it's the best way to get things lined up. I don't know, I find it to be less frustrating. And if I enjoy my crafting, I enjoy my card making and my paper crafting. I don't want to do things that are going to frustrate me, so just sharing some of the shortcuts that I use. Okay, so that is our envelope, and here is our card. We don't have our embellishments on there yet, so let's go ahead and bring this in. And I'm going to use, since we went with all the greens, I'm going to just stay with the parakeet here. And I'll put one, I think, oh, it flipped on me. It flipped. One right there. And we'll do another one. Oh, right here. And I think I'll do, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and add a whole bunch because I can. And we'll add one more over here. Okay. Just a little extra bling on there. Ta-da. See how light and airy that is? It's just a different card. Yeah, they could open it that way, but you know what? They're going to open it this way. So put your little sentiment in there. Different kind of book fold. All right. Let's get some of our things picked up so we can get to our next project. Put that off to the side because it's still a little wet and I don't want to get it all over the place. Okay. Next one. I really liked how this one turned out. I was very excited about it when I was making it. I was like, I don't know, it's going to be kind of plain, but you know what? I went for the soothe and calming spa kind of thing. So I am using Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss. And let me show you the card. Now, the last card I'm not showing with you. I'm showing you what my inspiration is, and then we'll make the card. But this right here is our next card. Just a very relaxing, calming card. It could be great for birthday. It could be great for sympathy. So if you have a different sentiment set, because there's only a couple different sentiments in here, you could easily change this up to be whatever you need. One of the best things I like about this card is this fern. Now this fern actually is part of the Sun Print suite in our new catalog, but I don't know, I have been using it for all of my different flowers and, you know, foliage kind of cards. I just love that fern embossing folder. I've used it on vellum. Well, you've seen some of the other cards. Yeah, so I just love that. So let's go ahead. We're going to pull in our embossing machine here because I am going to have to use the large cut and emboss for this because this is way too big for my little mini cut and emboss. You know, I wish I could get ferns to grow like in my containers and in my yard. I'm fern challenged. I don't know why. Ferns don't like to grow in my yard. They'll be very pretty with some of the flowers that I have. Oh, I should share with you too. I bought primrose flowers for the first time ever. I've never bought those before. I don't know why. But I decided, oh, you know, it'd be something different. And they were so pretty. The colors were kind of unique, so I was like, oh, I'm going to give that a whirl. All right, so now when we're using our embossing folder, this is a 3D embossing folder, we're just going to be using our base plate and our number 4 plate, which is for embossing. Yep, simple, clean design. Yeah, like I said, I felt like it was more of like a spa kind of card. But again, you can use whatever stamp sets. That's one of the best things about this card. You can use whatever embossing folder you have. Or if you don't have an embossing folder, just simply stamp in the same color as your cardstock. So let's run this through. But you can use whichever embossing folder you have and really whatever stamp set you have. It's, you know, not dependent, but I just thought this was an amazing one. All right, so here is my fern. I just love that. Now, let's do something a little extra. I'm all about extras tonight, you know. I had these all designed. I was like, oh, this will be quick and fast projects and something fun. But yeah, you know, I am deciding that I want to step things up a little bit tonight. I don't know why. Maybe so my husband cooks all the dinner and I don't have to go down and cook any of it. Well, I'm going to still have to clean everything up, so I don't know why I'm hee-heeing about. All right, I'm going to bring in this, and I'm going to bring in a blending brush. Let's see. Kind of get some of that other ink off. I was using early espresso to make some of the cards. So on Sunday, like I said, I am going to do my new catalog unboxing, so all my supplies should be coming in on Friday, so I'll have time to unbox it. And I plan on sharing with you my swap cards. So not only the cards that I made, but also that I've received from other demonstrators. I can tell you what, they're phenomenal. All right, so I've taken my blending brush and my crumb cake. I'm going to wipe most of it off, and now I'm gently going to rub this over the top, just to kind of bring out a little bit more of that pattern. The other thing that you can do is you can ink your embossing folder. I'm giving all the tips away. What am I going to do for other videos? Heavens. Maybe I should hold on to that one, right? Keep that in my back pocket. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm going to tell you anyways. All right. And I'm not doing a whole lot of ink in there, but you notice it's kind of popping out a little bit more. So the more you add, the more it's going to pop out. So here is with the ink and here is without. Very subtle difference. We can add a little more. Let's just go ahead and do that. I can always flip it over if I don't like it. Okay, there we go. Again, I don't want to go real dark, but I do want to get... So what it's doing is actually putting on the ink on the raised areas of my cardstock. All right. So like I was saying, now the other thing you can do is take your embossing folder and feel for the side that has the raised edges. You can take then a brayer, a sponge, your brush here. So let's go ahead and get some ink on there. And I'll just go ahead and run this through a piece of vanilla, just so you can see what it's going to look like. All right. You can use multiple colors on here. So I don't know how this is going to turn out because this is just kind of on the fly stuff with you. You can supply a florist. Yeah, I don't know why they just don't want to grow. It could just be me. All right, so I'm adding a little bit of my Mossy Meadow. And notice I went from my lighter color to my darker color because I really don't want to put my darker color in my other ink. All right. So now let's grab a piece of Very Vanilla here. Oh, is that Very Vanilla? I feel like that's white. Yeah, okay. Okay, here's a piece of Very Vanilla right here. All right, let's bring in our die cut machine in. All right. I'm going to just place this stuff first because once I do this, I don't want to move it. All right, so I've got my cardstock here, and this is the side the ink is going to go on. So I've got some goobers on this side, so I'm going to put it right here. All right, take this and put my hinge side in. Run this through. Now when I do this, I typically like to run this back and forth. So I run it through, you know, once one way, then back the other way. And I might even just run it through one more time. With the thinner cardstock, you're going to get a much deeper impression when you do that. All right, so wait for it. And here is the magic. So by going through several times, I not only got a deeper image, but look at how much more color is showing. Okay. So then you just, I just go to my bathroom and I just run this under my faucet and get all the color off. Okay. I'm going to stop showing you all my extra little tips because I'm not going to have another thing to do for my other videos. What am I thinking? Okay, so let's bring this back in. Then I have my card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I wasn't being, you know, super creative, being very original with my card design. You can use your liquid glue, or if you use seal, just make sure you use enough seal so that it will stick. I was just too lazy to open my glue at the moment. All right. Not that I'm being a lazy stamper tonight, but I'm being a very, I don't know, I'm showing you a lot of extra things, and I was planning on not going real late today. Okay, so the next thing I do is I need one more thing to cut. I need to go ahead and use my TaylorMade tags, and I know I haven't used those for a while. Aren't you excited? I'm bringing them back out. Love these. In fact, I have 2 sets because when I'm designing classes, when I do these, it's so much easier for me to have 2 sets to get these cranked out. All right, let's get this one done real quick. And my last card, I've done some of the prep work, so I'm hoping it goes a little faster. There might be some things I have to do. Okay. All right, let's run this through. Oops. Now you heard it crack like that because what I should have done when I'm running this through is I should have really put this at a little bit of an angle. When you put it at a bit of an angle, it slides through your machine a little better. So if you have a straight edge, just angle it just slightly and you don't get that big crack sound. It just, it feeds it through the mechanism better. Okay, so here we go. Let's put that away. And bring back in our card base and our piece of paper here. Handy dandy paper, you gotta love it. Okay. I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to bring in my favorite little stamp from here. It's not really my favorite little one from here. It's just one I used for most of my projects. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to stamp this right towards the top. I'm going to turn it just slightly and stamp it again. So I stamped off a little bit. Now, because I went off my paper, I'm going to have to re-ink this. Stamp it off here, and then I'm going to stamp it over here. All right. Now, I felt that it was a little plain. It didn't have a little color. And I can tell you one of the standing jokes when I asked my husband for some advice on color, and I always say, you know, I feel like it's missing something. It needs a little something. His answer is, you need some red. So I had my husband whispering in my ear, you need some red. And I said, no, I'm going for blackberry. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to grab my little tiny guy again. A little tiny one. And, oh, again, got to be careful with this guy. And I'm going to stamp some little berries all around. I mean, this stamp, like, just tucks right in. It looks so darn cute. I mean, I don't know how spots can be darn cute, but they are. Okay. Just a little something there. And now I'm going to take my sentiment here, and I'm doing Thinking of You. Yeah, needs red. Yep. That's the Maxwell answer. Needs red. Okay, so just stamp off to the side just a little bit here. Then I'm going to take some linen thread Now, no, linen thread doesn't all come like this, but I buy multiple packets and it's easier for me to store it all at one time. All right, and then I'm going to just double this up, give myself enough to work with here. I'm going to be tying a knot. I'm not going to be tying a bow, so I don't need it to be real long. And like I said, I eyeball it. I don't usually measure, so I apologize that I don't put the length of ribbon or whatever that I use. I just never measure it. I just make my card. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a knot. All right, there we go. Then I'm going to slide this down to where I want it to be. So it looks good right about there. Trim that little loop. Now I'm going to bring in my bone folder. And I'm going to curl this just like I would curling ribbon with a Christmas present. Just curl your ribbon, okay? And then pull it separate just to give it a little curl. You can do them separate if you wanted. You know, you just pull it through with how much curl you want to have. If you want to straighten it out, you can just hold it on the flat edge and go this way to straighten it. But then you can curl it back up again. All right, just a little curl. We'll grab some dimensionals here. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. You know, this could make it like a really cute snowman. You do it on white, and you have like 3 little buttons there. Put a little hat on them, a little face. We may have to make that card for Christmas, eh? A Christmas in July project. There we go. All right, and I'm going to put that right on the front, just like that. We're going to grab our classic matte dots. Now, if you're wondering why mine is such a big old mess in here, it's because I've been coloring my dots. So I really wanted some in-color gems, and I didn't have some, so I take my blends and I color my dots. But in this case, we want to just use our little cream-colored dots here. So I'm going to just randomly add them around my card. No rhyme or reason to doing it, where I'm doing it. Oh, guess that one didn't want to go there. Okay, so let's get our inside stamped. So this inside here is 4 by 5 1/4, just like the card front here was 4 by 5 1/4. I don't know if I said that before. I probably forgot. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and grab our mossy metal again. And I'm going to stamp the same way I did on my tag. So I'm going to stamp one. Actually, I'm going to stamp it this way. I'm going to re-ink it, stamp it off, and then stamp it up here. If I wanted, I could do it in the other corner as well. You know what? Let's do it. And stamp that off, and we'll do another one. Just a little bit there. There we go. Ooh, that is pretty. Okay. And let's go grab our little dots again. I don't know what I did with my little dots. Here we go. All right. Now, I do have a small little block that this would be much better on, but we're just using this. Sorry, I had to concentrate because I almost got that shadow in there, and I did. Sometimes with those delicate little stamps, I gotta be quiet. Okay. Woohoo! That is the inside of our card, and envelope, 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 envelope. Let's do something a little different with our envelope. Let's take this same one here, and just because I want to see what happens, I'm going to stamp this in my Blackberry Bliss. And then I'm going to clean that, and I'll grab my Mossy Meadow. I'm going to stamp that off and put one right right here. You know what? I'm going to add one more. I feel like I need a little bit more green. There we go. Now you could stamp your back flap of your envelope. You don't always have to stamp the left corner. I don't know. It's just something I naturally do, is do my left corners. All right, let's bring in our card. Let's put in our insert here. Down the back. There we go. Card number 2. Okay. All right, let's get our next set of stuff pulled off to the side. All right, so this, we got a little more stuff. Just going to throw my other stuff out of the way. We're going to be using that, and we are going to be using a piece of vellum here. So let me just get out my circle vellum. And let me show you what my inspiration was. So this was a card I was just playing around with. I had a scrap piece of designer series paper from the Harden Home DSP, and it had that kind of that wood grain look. So I decided, oh, I'm going to give that a try. So that's where this came from. And then I thought, you know how fun it would be if I had a larger piece of designer series paper. So this time we are going to take our Night of Navy, and this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I have a piece of designer series paper, and this comes from our Sun Prints designer series paper. This is new with the new catalog. So how fun are these? Look at that. This looks kind of fun too. Even this looks really pretty. So just some fun designs. And again, that's with the, that's called Sun Prints. It's with the Nature Prints Suite. Let's see if I can show you in the catalog here. It should be right near the front. So in our handy dandy catalog here, we do have a table of contents, which is right here, and we're going to look for our Sun Prints. So we're going to go over to page 90. And so in the catalog, when you see a suite means the whole shebang. So it means the designer series paper, whatever embellishment, the stamp set, the dies, whatever it has with this. This one also includes that fern embossing folder. So this is on page 90 and 91 of the catalog. So that's where I got this from. But I wanted to use some new and some old. So I'm just using the designer series paper from that one. And I really wanted to stay with the Botanical Layers that we're using today. So next thing I did is I grabbed my vellum. Let's grab back in my paper here, because now I'm going to take my Night of Navy blend, and I'm going to grab my, let's grab the chisel side here. I am just going to draw a circle. I'm not trying to be perfect. And this one, we'll go a little bit more. I think this one will start out here more. I'm kind of go in. All right. I know, looks like a hot mess, but that little hot mess area will cover up. All right. So what's going to happen is it's going to go on our cardstock like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I might as well go ahead and just adhere this down. Now this piece of designer series paper measures 4 by 5 1/4. This one I don't have posted yet for on the website, so that might be tomorrow that I write that one up. All right, so now I'm just going to center this. I'm just going to lay that there for right now, because the next two things I'm going to do is I'm going to grab in my Harvest dies. Now this is from the Nature's Harvest bundle. It's not a bundle anymore, but the stamp set and dies are still available. So this was in our holiday catalog before. I'm grabbing this small die right here for my sentiment. And then I'm grabbing this one right here for an added something. And the only thing I have to really run through is this one, because the magic of TV, I already ran that through the die cut machine. And I just made my little strip there. Sorry, I'm grabbing all my little pieces out of my envelope here. All right, I have a piece of basic white. This measures 4 by 5 1/4. This will be for the inside of the card. So I'll just tuck that in right there. We're gonna run this through the die cut machine. Easy peasy. And I'm just gonna use our little mini die machine now, because it's handy, it's small, and I'm doing a small little thing. This will also fit in, so I could do actually both pieces at the same time. What am I sitting on there? Very well loved plates, I know. All right, so I just set that right there. And we'll run this through real quick. Sorry, my camera acts like a little bobblehead when I'm doing my die cutting on my table. We're all green plant girls. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to stamp our sentiment, and I'm going to take it in Night of Navy. And again, I'm going to do that little thinking of you, because that one fits so nicely right on there. It's almost like it was made for that. Okay. So I'm just going to hopefully get that centered. All right, not bad. It's a little off, but that's okay. We'll deal with it, right? I'm going to close that one up. Oh, I do need that open. I lied. I need to bring this back, because now we're going to use the same little stamp that we used before. And we're going to stamp it right here. Kind of off to the side a little bit. Just like that. And it's okay that it didn't stamp perfectly. Again, if someone criticizes your card, they should be making it for you, right? And then I'm going to take a scrap piece of white. If I had a scrap handy here. I had one earlier. What did I do with it? I got too much of a mess next to me. Where'd it go? Scrap of white, where are you? All right, well, I guess I'll use this one. I'll put this off to the side so it dries. I am going to stamp now in Shaded Spruce, because, you know, when I did that first card, I was like, oh, I really want to use Shaded Spruce, but I didn't. So I figured, oh, I got to do it with a different card then. It's kind of like one of those cravings, you know, where you really want the one thing and nothing else will work. That's kind of how this was. We really had to have Shaded Spruce. All right, so inking that up. I'm just going to stamp it right there. And we're going to fussy cut that out. Okay, let me close these up. Through the magic of television, we cut that pretty darn quick. All right, I shouldn't have put that away because I still have the stamp on the inside. Let's bring this back in. Bring this one back in. And, you know, nah, we'll just go with this one. Grab my Night of Navy that I just put away. Scrap paper. Again, we're just going to, probably should take this one off so I can see. I am going to actually stamp several of them along the bottom. Because maybe I don't have a lot to say in this card. So now I've just used up, you know, 1/4 of my inside, so I don't have to worry about trying to write a whole lot. Extra little tips and tricks. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. I'm losing my words. All right, let's get this on the inside. Okay, so you know my envelope is going to be stamped with those same things. I don't have an envelope handy. I don't know why I didn't grab an envelope for this one, but I did not. Oh, so I will have to do something special there. I don't know what, but I'll come up with something to cover that up. I will probably, I don't know, I'll punch a label and put it in the middle. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So, let me share with you what I'm going to do. Okay. I'll just put this right up here in the corner. And I'll put a little sentiment or something right there. So it kind of covers that little hot mess I made. All right. In the meantime, let's get back to this hot mess. So what I want to do here, I'm going to be layering my stamped leaves on top of this die cut image. So I've got all these little sticks there. I need to get rid of those. So grab our little snips. And I'm just going to cut down right here. And I just want to have those tucked behind. If I need to trim a little more, I can. Just going to have them tucked behind just like that. So what I'll do is I'm going to come in with my liquid glue. This one's getting kind of low. I don't know if it's going to, oh, it's going down. All right. Okay. So we had Amy, and we had Zach, Amy and Becky and Beth. I thought I saw, and then Sarah and Barbara. I was just trying to see who's all on here. Inquiring minds. Okay. So I'm just pushing down that a little bit just so I can get glue on my fingers because, you know, a project isn't a project until I have glue on my hands. All right. I'm going to take my glue dots now and I am going to strategically place them on areas that will fit. Now, if my glue dot seems to be larger than the area I'm putting it in, I'm just going to kind of curl it up. Into kind of a little more of a little ball. Kind of like fold it in half. And yeah, that'll be good. So yeah, that should be fine. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't want these pieces to necessarily be flinging all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and put that right here. Now again, I really should have heat set that, but I was impatient. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so I don't get this all over my work surface. And I'm going to be very careful as I'm doing this. So I'm going to take more glue dots now, and I'm going to just put them behind different images here so that I can get my vellum adhered to my card, and I'm not going to see the little dots anywhere. So I can actually put it right behind that stamped image. Hopefully I'm not making too much of a mess. And I'll add a couple more. Ow! I just stabbed myself with my scissors. Okay, so what other fun things happen? Oh, not fun thing, but so on Mother's Day, you know, we're back and getting our flowers, we're unloading them out of the truck, and my dog decides that he is going to take off at a dog walking down the block and some people walking down the block because, you know, he's on his leash. Well, I saw his leash was wrapped around my foot. So I was doing my best to jump as fast as I could out of the little loop. And yeah, nope, I went down. He took me out. My husband said I kind of look like a figure skater with my one leg on the ground, my one leg out in back of me, and my hands flailing in the air. Yeah, nice husband, hey? Okay, so then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little sentiment and I'm going to put that right on top. So I'll go ahead and grab a couple little dimensionals here. Okay, we're not grabbing little ones. I'm just grabbing dimensionals, whatever size I grabbed. I'm not judging on dimensional size. We're just grabbing to do the business. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to I want to cover up that little kind of hot mess that I had right there. So I'm just going to cover it up right there. Just like that. We'll bring back in, I'm going to bring back in my in color dots, and I'm going to use the Starry Sky. I think that's what it's called, Starry Sky. Starry Night, Starry Sky. All right. I'm bringing these in because, oh. All right. So if that happens, where your glue dot stays on that little thing and doesn't come off, grab your scissors and pick it up. Because sometimes it just needs, well, it's not coming up. All right. In that case, you'll take a little bit of glue and glue that one down. All right. So I'll put one here. And it's a little, the color's a little off, but I'm not worried about that. That's okay. Kind of just add some extra something to the card, right? And we'll put that one right here. Okay. There we go. So that is our third and final card for the night. Let me show you my original inspiration for that. So again, I just switched up my designer series paper. Still use that same stamp set. I love when I have a stamp set that becomes very versatile and I can do a lot with it. And I can come up with all sorts of different cards. Even if it's the same layout, they look different. So sometimes it's nice to do all the same layout because then I can do all my cutting all at one time. And there you have it. So I'm just putting a couple things away here so that I can bring in all the cards all at one time. And if you ever wonder why I kind of pause when I put the cards out here, it's because I'm trying to let my video kind of take its own little snapshot of those cards. That way I don't have to do a lot of editing afterwards. So, yeah. Just some little trick there. All right. So we've got those two. I'm going to slide those out of the way. And then, so I'm going to put them in order. So this is our first one, our second one, our third one. And let's see if I can bring our little envelope flappies in here. So we've got our, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It might not show in the whole screen. So, oh, that's right. I don't have an envelope for that one. So we're good. We're good. Okay. So we'll just take them down like this. Take this one down like this. And we'll put this one right here. Let's see. Can we get that all on the screen at one time? Is it all in there? I can't tell because my screen is kind of cut off. All right. So thanks everyone for joining. Don't forget Sunday. I haven't said if it's going to be 7 or 7:30, but it'll be put out there. Hey, I might as well do 7:15. There we go. 7:15, I will be live. I will be unboxing all of the new product that I got. I will be sharing swaps with new product. So make sure you come and join me. Share that link. As soon as I get it posted, it will be posted probably either tonight or tomorrow. But share that so that other people can join and check out the fun and the goodness. Also, so I had said there was going to be a giveaway tonight. I am going to be giving away 2 of the cards here. I'll be giving these 2 away to one of the people that have commented in the video tonight. If you shared my video with some friends, make sure you comment shared so that way it will also be counted as an entry. And then on Sunday, I will let you know who won. So have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday. Love you all.